So some people say, I don't even believe if I had my previous life, or I had 5 lives or 3 lives. Well, first of all, remember, in evolution of the soul, we had infinite lives. We might be already being like a tree, like a plant, like an animal. And it doesn't mean that we always remember every one of our life. Otherwise, it would be like a horrible, we need horrible memory storage. What Vedas believe, whatever the experience you need, you've got that memory. And if you will need more of that, you will remember your previous lives through certain spiritual practice or awakening. But it's not necessarily. Like, for instance, somebody say, well, in my college life, I've studied so many different books and I've read so many different books. But you don't remember every page you've read. You can say those books affect my life in a professional or social way, that I am who I am right now. But it doesn't mean everything you've studied, every book you've read, you have to memorize and remember without, losing that memory. So that's why it's important for us to understand whatever we had in our previous lives lead us today and now. And we have to live today and now. So if today and now, for some divine cause, I will remember my previous life, that is very good. So one important realization from your previous lives, that you already had in numerous previous lives, you might have so many next lives, and who you become in this life, that is what's the most important. Why is that most important? Because you cannot escape from one life to another one. You cannot say, okay, if to be a spiritual person that difficult, let me become a drunkard and degraded person this life. Next life, I might become a spiritual person. No, if you become degraded in this life, next life you might become animal or tree. Therefore, you need to understand the value of this life. And this life is giving you for a short time. It's not a long thing. It goes like this. You have gray hair in a moment. So try to value what God's give you today. Try to appreciate that and try to figure how to use this circumstance, as bad it might be. Like you might be in prison. Like when one great sage was arrested for practicing spiritual life by a king who was a demonic king, he threw him in a prison. So that sage stayed in the prison, and all the prisoners said, oh, give us the blessing as soon as possible that we leave the prison. But the sage said, until you realize why you're in prison, why you enter this prison, there's no point of leaving your prison. I know you all want to get out, but remember that there's reason why you're here. Number one. Number two, he said, if you really want to get out, you have to get out of this world. So he gave them the spiritual practice. So the whole prison become spiritual practitioners. The energy changed, the vibration changed. So the king got report. So now all these prisoners become followers of the sage. And he was so much afraid, he said, immediately release them, kick them out of prison, just fill with new people and prosecute the sage. But what happened was the people that were trying to leave prison and hoping for the prison, they were liberated not because of the king, but because of the quality change. So there's one story about one king, another king, it's not the same king, entered to the prison, and he's going with his minister and director of the prison. And his minister is, technically speaking, showing the king the prison, the condition of the prison, the prisoners, and king, as being a generous person, say, well, I hope you realize that by breaking law, you're not just exiled society. We hope you will serve your time and come back from society. Meanwhile, as a king, I can fulfill some of your needs. And somebody say, well, your majesty will like better food. Somebody say, well, your majesty, if they can give us shower more often, or maybe fix certain prison cells that we can seat nicer. And king, being generous, king said, yes, I will address to the director of this prison. Then finally he saw one very sad man who was very unhappy. And the king said, so what about you, sir? Why are you so unhappy? And that person said, your majesty, I don't think, better food or better room will replace me in my home. And I'm so much suffering because my parents, my friends, my family are all waiting for me. And I feel everything I've done in order to get to that prison was so stupid, so amateur. I'm just so sorry about myself. So the king was very happy with his answer. By way out of prison, he said to the prison director, so those who are asking the better conditions, you please fulfill all the conditions, make better food, better this, better that. But that one person I think need to be liberated, because I think that person understood the prison, why he's in suffering in the prison. I think his prison time is over. So what this story really tells, if we have self-confidence and transformation of our conscious, our physical life, our material gameplay can be end very quick due to our consciousness upliftment and understanding how much we're missing being in a beautiful, missing the spiritual world we came from. We actually belong to this world of consciousness, not this world of death. If we understand that, then maybe our time in this world is finished, over.